Good afternoon and welcome to the Allen Theater for a very special announcement of Texas Tech's Centennial Celebration. It is our honor to introduce some very special guests who are joining us in the theater this afternoon. Michael J. Lewis, Chairman of the Texas Tech University System Board of Regents. Mark Griffin, Vice Chairman of the Texas Tech University System Board of Regents. Dr. Ted Mitchell, Chancellor of the Texas Tech University System. Charles Perry, Texas State Senator. Dustin Burrows, Texas State Representative. Carl Tepper, Texas State Representative-elect. Sheila Patterson Harris, Lubbock City Council. Steve Massengale, Lubbock City Council. Mark McBrayer, Lubbock City Council. At this time, we ask that you please silence your mobile devices and ensure that your flash photography has been turned off. For the safety of the performers, flash photography is strictly prohibited. 100 days from today, Texas Tech University will officially begin its year-long centennial celebration. The Office of the President, in conjunction with the J.T. and Margaret Talkington College of Visual and Performing Arts School of Theater and Dance, proudly presents Eyes on the Horizon. When the 38th Texas Legislature and Governor Pat Neff established the college that would become Texas Tech on February 10, 1923, little did they know the transformative effects that investment in higher education would have on the West Texas region, as well as the tremendous range of benefits it would continue to produce for the entire state 100 years later.
In fact, they didn't even know precisely where their new Texas Technological College would be located. A committee was formed to tour various locales, competing for the distinction of becoming the home of the new state institution. When the committee arrived in Lubbock, the citizens were so enthusiastic, they lined the main street of the new city to greet them as they drove by.
With their eyes brightly set on the horizon, those Lubbockites established in that moment the tight bond between city and university that still exists to this day.
The newest college in the great state of Texas opened its doors of its 6 buildings to an inaugural class of 914 students in September of 1925. And in 1926, President Paul W. Horn gave a speech to that original student body that still resonates across the academic and research planes of university.
It is a magnificent country in which our college is located.
It is a region of magnificent distances,
Of far-flung horizons.
Of deep canyons.
Of lofty, far-arching skies.
Everything that is done on these West Texas plains ought to be done on the large scale.
It is a country that lends itself to bigness.
It is a country that does not harmonize with things little or narrow or mean.
Let us make the work of our college fit into the scope of our country.
Let our thoughts be big thoughts and broad thoughts.
Let our thinking be in worldwide terms.
When Texas Tech University first opened, it consisted of only 6 buildings, but that was no deterrent for student interest. The first year's enrollment was over 900, hundreds over what it had been projected to be. So Tech didn't gain momentum over a century. Tech started with momentum and never stopped.
One integral piece of our early momentum is the Texas Tech Dairy Barn, signifying our university's agricultural beginnings. Construction on the barn began in 1925, the same year the university opened for classes.
The barn was finished a year later, complete with milking facilities, feeding rooms, stalls, office space, a hayloft, and even a sunroom.
Hey, Mr. Walker, here's Greta I told you about.
Well, there you go. She looks great. And good day to you, too. You can keep her here as long as you like, Taylor. Come on, girl. All right.
Mr. Walker, I thought I'd bring these two by today for this semester's payment.
Wait, you're using them to pay your tuition?
Why, yes, sir, Samuel. Thank you very much. We'll get you all taken care of.
And I was going to ask, you got any job openings anytime soon, Mr. Walker? I was going to try and become the school mascot, but they haven't decided on one yet.
Well, sure, I could use another guy in the milk processing facility, or if you'd like to deliver milk and butter to our customers.
Why, yes, sir, I would, very much.
Come back on Friday. We'll talk about an application.
But in 1966, after 40 years of serving Texas Tech employees, students, and community members, the dairy barn began to lose its place on campus. After all, it's easy to leave the past behind.
This herd's too large for this old place these days. Go on now, move them out. Greta, lead the way. Ha, 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 let's go. We're moving to a new home. Samuel, let's start moving out our equipment.
Years passed by as the empty, unused dairy barn fought wind and rain and no upkeep.
Can tear down this section for our next campus development. Don't worry, the rest of the barn can stay for now.
Well, heck, why not just demolish the whole thing? Nobody uses it anymore.
Even if you don't forget the past altogether, it's easy to forget its value, its contributions to what we have today, the paths it trekked for us.
But not everyone forgets.
Save the barn! Preservation memory! Save the barn!
In 1990, following a year of discussions and preparations, Texas Tech alumni renovated and saved the barn.
And of course, the process of preservation is one that requires continual effort. So, in 2017, funds were once again raised. With millions of dollars in funding, the barn was again reconstructed in 2019 to ensure its permanent place as a functional historic building on campus, representing Tech's original commitment to student involvement and student success.
This upcoming centennial year, we encourage Texas Tech Red Raiders to celebrate in a way that embodies the simplicity of this barn. We will remember and revitalize our past while simultaneously moving forward, ever increasing bigger and bolder goals.
We've come a long way from our early 6-building buildings 100 years ago. Our footprint stretches across the globe. We're going bigger. We're going bolder. And throughout 2023, we'll be having grand celebrations, not just here in Lubbock, but throughout Texas. Trust us when we tell you, you won't want to miss them. Let's take a look at what we have planned in this upcoming year.
A dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed.
The stars at night are big and bright. Deep in the heart of Texas, the prairie sky is wide and high. Deep in the heart of Houston, Houston means that I'm one day closer to you. Oh, honey, Houston.
howdy again. Now, this wouldn't be a proper celebration of our history and legacy here at Texas Tech without bringing out arguably one of the most famous, most recognizable, most celebrated entities both on and off campus. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome...
Stop it. You're too kind.
Nope, not talking about you.
Ouch.
But I'll need your help with this introduction.
I'll need some time to heal first.
Oh, come on. Nobody tells it like you.
I mean, I do tell it pretty good.
You're the best I know.
Certainly the best on this side of the Colorado.
And who bested you on the other side?
A man by the name of Charlie Cactus Cottingham. Tech alum from way back. Old Hoot lives somewhere in the deserts of Nevada now. But the legend goes that he wanders from saloon to saloon, telling the haunted tale of the Ghost Rider.
Brilliant transition.
Thank you.
Very dramatic.
I try.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Please give a Texas Tech welcome to
the
Masked Rider!
I love this part! Right down the spine every time!
And that sort of spectacle, ladies and gentlemen, is why you don't choose a horned frog as your mascot.
Or a little doggy in a football jersey looking at you Aggies real cute.
Or a bull with very long horns? Like, what even is that?
A bull with very long horns.
I know what it is. I'm just trying to get in on the bashing.
Then go for the Bears. Bears in Central Texas? It's like they didn't even try.
And it's such a precious choice, too. Think about it.
Oh, I have.
You only get one shot to get it right.
Throughout all of history, to recognize the face of your institution.
The pressure.
To not goof it up.
The accuracy required.
To hit the bullseye.
Pun intended.
Definitely.
But most importantly,
To avoid at all costs.
Naming your mascot.
Shasta, the cougar.
A cautionary tale indeed.
Let's humble ourselves with some history, shall we?
we love history.
Please do tell.
All great ideas that so often become a part of history begin somewhere in the dark without much guidance. And for Texas Tech and the Masked Rider program, that beginning was born on a fateful night in
1936, when the first batting of the Masked Rider
way to steal the
when
spotlight.
unofficial Masked Rider stormed the field before a football game.
Would you please let the actual Masked Rider who's standing right here next to us tell us a story about the Masked Rider?
Sorry, I just get so flippin' pumped about this stuff.
Never apologize for your passion, for it was that same type of unbridled passion that led to my origins. A single student decided to inspire the masses with a gesture made from brilliance, and that student's name was
George Tate, class of 1937.
Come on.
Again,
They said not to apologize for passion.
You're absolutely right. George Tate led the football team out onto the field with a horse borrowed from the Texas Tech stables.
But his identity was kept secret.
Yes, it was. He wore a scarlet satin cape.
Which was made by the Home Economics Department. Fun fact. Sorry, not sorry. Okay. I'll be quiet.
So the legend says. But one thing is clear. Without such a brazen act of passion and pride, I wouldn't be here today. A single student decided to inspire the masses, and because of that, we all learned a lesson, surely, on how to create something so exciting and shareable by all. A lesson we should all strive to emulate here at Texas Tech. Because without our students, we are like a tumbleweed without any wind to get by. And on that note, I must ride. To all the students, faculty, and staff, past, present, and future, we salute you. Guns up.
Though it took some time, Texas Tech's unofficial mascot would officially become recognized as the Masked Rider in 1954 when Joe Kirk Fulton led the football team onto the field during the Gator Bowl, a moment forever etched in time, a sports memory for this state and country to marvel at. This act would make college football at Texas Tech about more than just football. It would bring together an entire community to share in the battle of the Red Raiders on the Field of Dreams.
And this unmistakable bond formed between school and community could not have happened soon enough, as Lubbock and the Texas Tech community would soon be facing a haunting challenge just 16 years later in this city's history. At 9:46 p.m. that night, all the electric clocks in Lubbock stopped. As time stood still, the most devastating tornado in history ravaged huge portions of my city. Those were the words of W. Herschel Sharp, chief of the City of Lubbock Fire Department, describing the aftermath immediately following the May 11th tornado that had damaged a large percentage of the city of Lubbock in 1970. It was then recorded and calculated to be the costliest tornado damage in U.S. history. But homes can be rebuilt, businesses can be refurbished, debris can be cleared.
But the lives lost that day cannot be restored. 26 souls perished, and hundreds more were injured. And although this may seem like a dozen lifetimes ago, like some distant and lost event from the past, there's a good chance some folks in this room remember that night. The people, the places, the damage. And so, we think it is appropriate that we take a moment of silence to remember those lives lost in what still stands as the darkest time of loss and destruction in Lubbock's recorded history. Please join us.
It's funny how the simplest of landmarks become home. Even the silliest, most commercial buildings become so personal over time. And the lives who moved in and out of these shared spaces, each one important and integral to this city's identity, all equally a part of Lubbock. But when those landmarks vanish, and all you can see for miles in any direction are rocks, debris, and a flattened horizon, might as well be on Mars, without hope, without breath.
But when those people vanished, things became emptier. The city became lighter, more hollow. And those who were fortunate enough to emerge on May 12th with their lives spared would continue to move through the spaces left behind by those they loved. And although I know this may seem like a heavy and somber moment to reflect upon, shared devastation often brings with it the remarkable gift of devotion.
A devotion measured by this city's inherent sense of togetherness, community, and resiliency.
The greatest gift any of us can hope for during times of such agony is to have refuge waiting for us in the arms of our fellow brothers and sisters.
And after those tornadoes toward an 8.5-mile scar through our lives, through our living rooms and playgrounds, through our schools and shopping centers, and left us with nothing but violent memories of rain and thunder, the only way up and out of it, the only way towards some sense of salvation, was through one another.
They often say the mark of any great people or society is how they respond to adversity. And us, being here today to celebrate Lubbock's and Texas Tech's longevity, is perhaps the greatest testament of what we can achieve when we are unified as one community.
That storm unified the people of Lubbock and students, educators, and the professionals at Texas Tech like no other event in this city's history. The damage rippled throughout each one of us. It was felt. It was lived. Volunteers from Texas Tech showed up en masse to rebuild what they could be rebuilt. It was then that Texas Tech showed that it could be a pillar of hope and help in a time of such chaos and uncertainty. And it was because of this newly forged bond that university and community could come together. And then Texas Tech found its true identity as a research institution, and thus forever altering the course of this great university.
In fact, that 1970 tornado would make a different kind of history, an inspiring history of advancement. It was, at the time, the most recorded and studied tornado system, which validated and further established what is known as the Fujita scale. Named after Ted Fujita, This is the scale that meteorologists use today to determine how damaging a storm system can be by analyzing such factors as wind speed, ground swirl patterns, and radar data.
And so it would seem that a dark slice of fate would lead to a monumental civil and technological advancement that would then be used to warn and save the lives of countless others.
Today, more than 5 decades removed from that fateful night, scientists, researchers, and scholars across multiple disciplines here at Texas Tech continue to work to solve the problems faced in our community, across the state, and around the world.
And we firmly believe it is because of this unity that we've come this far along, and why the next 100 years will be even stronger.
And so it is together, as a school, as a city, as one community. We march together forward to a brighter, bluer, more brilliant horizon. Today, we are pleased to announce that one of the primary ways that we will celebrate our centennial will be through volunteerism and service. 1 million hours of service. That is our challenge to all Red Raiders. So whether you be an alum, a former student, a current student, a prospective student, faculty or staff, or you just love Texas Tech, we need your help to ensure an unprecedented 1 million hours of service.
For 100 years, Red Raiders have been changing the world by serving others.
As we mark our centennial year, we're keeping our eyes on the horizon and placing service at the forefront of our celebration.
At our core, Red Raiders are doers, and when tasked with an ambitious goal, nothing can stop us.
1 million hours of service. It's a Texas Tech-sized goal, but together, we can achieve it.
We know that you are already at work in your local communities through service to your churches, schools, civic groups, charities, and countless other organizations.
So we need you to join us by taking a few minutes out of your day to log your volunteer and service hours through our Easy Centennial Volunteer Online Portal.
When you give of your time, don't forget to log your hours. You can do it as often as you need to, and you can even log your hours on behalf of a group or organization.
Red Raiders love a good competition, so we will provide a special recognition to those student organizations, alumni association chapters, and graduating classes that log the most amount of hours over the next year.
As we all know, a little Raider power can make a major difference in our communities and in our world. To learn more, log on to 100.ttu.edu/volunteer.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 17th president of Texas Tech University, Dr. Lawrence Schovanec.
Thank you. I'm proud to be here with you today for the launch of the Texas Tech University Centennial Celebration. February 2023 will mark 100 years since the founding of our beloved institution. Born as Texas Technological College, it may have been questionable that an institution located here would one day emerge as a world-class university, drawing students from every state in the Union and more than 100 countries around the world. But in the vast open spaces of West Texas, we were imbued with a Texas-sized ambition. It is from such a drive that a college founded in 1923 has become an extraordinary 21st century engine of educational, research, cultural, and economic opportunity. In our first 100 years, Texas Tech has become a potent force for learning and discovery in areas critical to humanity. As we commemorate Texas Tech's past, we do so with an anticipation of what is yet to be. We have come far and enjoy unprecedented momentum, but we have so much more to do and it's imperative that we raise our own bar of expectations. Texas Tech will be the destination for those seeking a world-class education and a unique and personalized experience as members of the Red Raider family. We will promote and support academic excellence to ensure future generations of Red Raiders find even greater success while they are students on our campus. And when they leave this campus, they will do so with the knowledge and the skills and the quality of mind to be leaders and doers, prepared to thrive in a 21st century democracy. We will build on our history of scholarship and research as we move toward the status of a top 50 national research institution. We will advance Texas Tech's tradition of creativity and cultural enrichment through our commitment to the arts and the humanities. We will seize upon our location in these Great Plains to solve worldwide problems through impactful research that addresses issues in such areas as energy, sustainability, water, and health. Today, I ask each of you to take this journey with us as we celebrate what Texas Tech has been and what it will be. We will honor a century that has turned potential into power, education into inspiration, and passionate students into proud alumni. This is a place about friendships, life-lasting bonds, and ideas and values that will weather the test of time. Our history is worth celebrating. Our pride knows no bounds, and the best is yet to come.
And now, Red Raiders, it's time for an exciting announcement. Please help me welcome Wesley Watley.
Good afternoon. It is a good afternoon, isn't it? It's a great afternoon to be here at Texas Tech. Is that right? Yeah. Wow. I am moved and honored to be here and to be part of these festivities. I'm here today to share a very special announcement. It's something that's never been heard at this campus in its 100-year history, and it gives me a great honor to be here. I work for an organization, and it's my role to look across the U.S. and identify the finest music students in the United States of America, and that journey has led me here today to Texas Tech University. Just a few hours ago, I had the great honor of meeting and speaking with the Goin' Band of Raiderland, right? Oh yeah. An incredible organization here, and I shared some very special news with them, and I'd like to make that news public here now. It gives me great pride, and it is with great pleasure I announce today that for the first time in this school's 100-year history, the Goin' Band of Raiderland has been selected to represent Texas Tech University and its 100-year history and the great state of Texas and perform in New York City in the 2023 Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Fantastic, right? And if you'll give me just a few more minutes, my name is Wesley Watley. I am the creative producer of Macy's Parade in New York, and it has been my great honor to work on that tradition for the last 20 years. And we are so proud at Macy's to preserve that tradition. And I've been sitting here listening to this story being told of the traditions here. 100 years of tradition, 100 years of excellence, 100 years to celebrate. What a wonderful thing to celebrate here. And, you know, we like to think we like to celebrate every Thanksgiving in New York, our very own tradition. Macy's is over 150 years old, but one thing you may not know, this fall will be our 96th parade. So we are very much aligned. We're a little behind you, but we're very much in line with the number of years of tradition that we are also preserving. We're almost to our centennial, our 100th parade, and it gives us great honor just to help you celebrate yours. I'm envisioning Savannah and Hoda next November honoring your centennial on NBC as your students march on 34th Street in front of Macy's Herald Square and perform and honor this institution. Sounds pretty great. What do you think? So we look forward to hosting these talented students. We wanted to share that news today on this very special day. They will be marching down the streets of New York in front of 3.5 million New Yorkers and over 20 million people on television. This centennial starts today, but by next fall, all of America will know of this institution and the fantastic students who study here, the alumni, and all the wonderful education that's happening. It's Macy's honor to be that national stage, and thank you so much for joining us next fall. We look forward to it. Yes. And I just want to do one symbol of our thanks. So if, Mr. President, if you would join me, Macy's would like to kick off fundraising and support the students here at the band with a check for $10,000 today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Of course. Yeah. So thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Texas Tech. We will see you next November. We look forward to it. Happy Thanksgiving.
"100 years ago, the residents of Lubbock lined dirt streets to welcome dignitaries announcing the establishment of Texas Technological College on the plains of West Texas. May our next 100 years reflect the values and the purpose of our humble beginnings as faculty, staff, and students still stand shoulder to shoulder with the people of Lubbock and alumni around the world. As we begin our second century, we must elevate our thinking from big to bold. We must work tirelessly to welcome all those seeking knowledge and life-changing opportunity. We must be courageous in our endeavors to find creative and unique solutions to the problem of the world, standing at the forefront of discovery and innovation. And we must look beyond the horizon, always in pursuit of making the impossible possible.
And now, Red Raiders, please rise and join us in the singing of the Matador song.